morning, this is Tana with Amazing Changes, and I'm very excited today to be here with one of my very favorite people, Jillian Landis. She is a life coach with Evolved Personal Coaching, and I'm going to have Jill tell you a little bit about why you're, well, first of all, what you do, and what attracted you to be part of the team at Amazing Changes. So, fire away.
So first of all, what I do is I'm a self-care and empowerment coach. Really what attracted me to this work is helping people improve their self-care. I came from the field of social work, and so I worked with clients who were pretty burnout, depressed, kind of, struggling in life. And I also noticed that a lot of my coworkers were also very, very depleted. And that really attracted me because I was that way as well. I really struggled with not setting very good boundaries. I was constantly running to the next thing, trying to survive. And I was so busy that I didn't have time to take care of me. And so that's a huge passion for me now.
So when you say self-care, can you just give us a couple of examples of what that means, what that would look like?
Absolutely. So I'm glad you brought that up because most of the time people view self-care as, well, I went and got a massage or I got a manicure.
Right, exactly. Especially for us women, right?
Yeah, or maybe I have good nutrition. And those are great things, and that is part of self-care. But I believe that self-care is much deeper. So the first piece of self-care that I think is really important to understand is worthiness. If we don't believe that we deserve good things, then we don't allow those into our lives. And so I noticed that if you think that you have to work really hard in order to earn your value, you will work really hard and you'll run yourself into the ground.
Don't you see that that's kind of a prevalent thought in our society, this kind of feeling of unworthiness or not deserving? It seems like I see that a lot.
Yeah, and that's actually going to affect every other area of your self-care. So you can't really have good nutrition or exercise habits if you think that you don't deserve it.
Right.
So that's one of the areas of self-care that I think is really important. Another one that I see all the time are relationship issues. We don't have very good self-care in our relationships. So, keeping solid boundaries or detaching from other people's problems, not taking on their crisis. Those are really important areas of self-care to address. And I find that most of my clients, worthiness and relationships show up in nearly everyone.
Yeah, I bet. So when you speak of your clients, though, so you primarily do personal coaching then? Is that mostly what you do?
That's what I enjoy most. I also teach a lot of classes, and I'm learning to enjoy that as much. But I love the intimate connections.
Excuse me for interrupting. I'd really like you to highlight real quickly about your Divine Harmony, because that is, I know, a workshop that you're working on as you're writing a book on that subject. And I know in myself, I've attended that workshop twice now, and it is so powerful. Could you just share with us just a minute about that?
Absolutely. That's definitely a passion of mine. It was not something that I ever really intended to be a passion. It just kind of fell into my lap from above, I guess. So my Divine Harmony class is about masculine and feminine energy, which I hope doesn't scare anyone off. It's not a real woo-woo class. It's more about behaviors and how my behaviors that I'm unconsciously doing, that they're constantly attracting something else. So I will see that show up in my romantic relationships. I'll see that show up in my work relationships, friendships, really everywhere. I'm going to see these behavior patterns continue. So if I want to see my relationships change, I have to change me. And I often hear people say, my picker's broken. I keep attracting the same guy or whatever the situation is. And so I really address that question of why is your picker broken? Nothing is really wrong with you. It's just tapping into that awareness of what are my behaviors that continue to attract this pattern.
Yes. I love the way that you go through and you talk about the personal, the relational, and then the collective, because I always say so much of the time, I love Gandhi's quote, how we have to be the change that we want to see in the world. And so you reflected that in your class, in your work, about that, how it does whatever we're doing here shows up next on those relational levels. But then when we look around to the collective, and knowing that it always does boil all the way back down to starting here with us first. So
absolutely, that is huge to me. That gives me chill bumps every time I think about it, that, you know, we have these huge collective social problems and environmental problems, and so often we're overwhelmed by them and we're trying to focus on the problem in order to get a
Yes.
solution, and it doesn't work.
Absolutely.
So I believe, and what this class teaches, is when I start with me and I get myself in alignment,
Yeah.
the ripple effect is just phenomenal, and we hold so much power.
Yes.
And what we're doing is we are trying to change something we have no power to change,
Yeah.
but we have so much power to change right here.
Yes,
and
we
if
do.
we start there, then really it's just endless,
Yeah.
the impact that we can have in our world.
Thank you so much. Well, I'm so excited for that class to be more and more out there. I'm really excited for your book to be out, so you be sure, you know, I'll be on your pre-sale list. So anyway, and why were you attracted to come to Amazing Changes? Why did you want to play with us here?
I was here at the very beginning.
You were.
And I just felt very strongly when I attended a little informational session here about why would I want to be a partner here. It felt like a fit for me, and it was the next phase for my business and what I wanted to do to impact others. I felt at home, like this was pushing me to be in alignment with all of the other partners here, who I feel like are all very professional, and the space here just kind of gave me a little room to grow, and so that's really why I wanted to come play with you all.
Well, I'm delighted to have you on the team, and have just loved having you here, and I think we're gonna have a lot of good times together. So.
Thank you so much, Tana.
So thank you so much, Jill, for sharing with us, and thank you for watching today.